Oh, Bitcoin, you're wedging in here. There must be some supports and resistances in the atmosphere. I said, brr, Bitcoin, you're wedging in here. There must be some supports and resistances in the atmosphere. Just to bring you guys back to the Bring It On days, you know, doesn't everybody love Bring It On? Anybody old enough to remember that movie with me? Come on, guys. Anyways, you know, my favorite line from that movie was probably, "It's alright, it's okay, you're gonna pump my gas one day." Oh, jeez. Good old days, guys. Nothing takes me back to memory lane. More like Bitcoin. You can reminisce about anything and find similarities to your past anytime. I like to live vicariously through Bitcoin as well. So, let's take a look at Bitcoin, guys. So we gotta go through these charts one by one because they all act as trigger charts, right? And we've talked about before where there's a lower little channel in here where every time it gets there, I call it a support 2 region. It just wants to bounce off of there, right? And it's forming this sloped line. But on the main trend line, on like a daily chart, okay, where we're using only a body to body, and we're considering the wicks as basically bull traps, we definitely see it wedging in there as well, right? So there's different ways to think of it. And I think last time Bitcoin update was like 6 hours ago. So if we now look, for example, on a 4-hour chart, we say there's, or 1-day chart, first of all, we say to ourselves, that is a fairly bullish candle. It is looking very bullish, right? And it's because today was the uptrend day, right? It's also got volume for very, very strong support, right? So on the end of a downtrend, very nice candles for support. So on the daily, we've got about an hour and a half to go. On the 4-hour chart, we kind of have a small doji forming. What we want for an uptrend is a lot of inside bars to form. If you guys watch the chart, guys, he's one of the technical analysts that likes to use a lot of inside bars forming. It's one of his main strategies that he uses for trading. He uses mainly trendline supports and resistances, right, with higher highs and higher lows for candles. It's a really good way to trade as well, right? It's not my style specifically, but it's definitely an awesome way to trade as well. So this is just using different methods as well, right? We want inside bars to form. Now, as we go down to the lower time frames, 3-hour, we see it not even getting close to the 55 EMA yet, but we do see this doji candle at the top with volume waning off, which actually signals the end of an uptrend right now. And then we take a look at the 2-hour chart, which is super prominent right now. When I first did this one right here, we were talking about this candle right there that was forming, right? It was called a shooting star, and we were basically talking about it like all around here as well, where every time we saw it, it was downtrend, like right there, downtrend. Pretty much series right there, downtrend. We see a series right there and then a downtrend, right? Now, what we see is the 2-hour, it tries to break above the 55 EMA, right? The bulls push it up, but the bears easily reject them by pushing it down. Now, what we like to see on a support line is a candle like this, right? It's a candle like that, and we like to see it bounce off of an EMA or a very, very prominent support, because this wick implies, okay, that the bears have tried to push it down, but the bulls have successfully defended it above this horizontal line right there. Now, the other way also applies, okay? If this right here, this line that is purple, is the resistance, right? If we see a candle like this as well, where the bulls have attempted to push it up above the resistance, but the bears have pushed it down. Psychologically, that implies that in the past 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hours pretty much, in the 4 hours, the bulls have tried to even break above a critical moving average, but simply couldn't. So we also have to keep in mind that moving averages are used as supports and resistances, right? Every time that the candles snap too far away from the yellow moving line, this 55 exponential moving average, it snaps back up to the line. Goes up, snaps back down. Goes down, snaps back up. Goes down, snaps back up. Right? And what it tries to do is it's a big battle between the bulls and the bears. It tries to cross over to the other line, right? And it tries to maintain some sort of movement upwards in parabolic or some movement upwards, right? Where it can sustain below it. So every time you see this yellow line that is above all the candles, it means that you're on a short-term bearish trend. If you can make the candles above this line where the yellow line is now below it, supporting all of it, right, as a 55 moving average support, then you now have a short-term short-term uptrend, right? But right now, this psychology is really strong in the market that the bulls have tried so hard right now, and they have just failed miserably right now with 2 rejections. So now we got to see on a shorter time frame, can a 1 hour chart as well even break above the 55? Yeah, great, it broke above the 55, right? Everybody thought it was going to successfully close above and stay there. But guess what, guys? Now the candles, here it rejected it, now the body is in between there, now the body is in between there again. So the next one, it's also going to be hovering right around this EMA. So this is a very neutral zone right now that we're in. Then we just keep going down to the other time frames, right? We see that the 45-minute chart cannot break into bullish territory. The 1 hour chart cannot break into bullish territory. The 30-minute chart broke into 70, but nothing extreme, right? The 15-minute chart broke a little bit over the 80s, but nothing too extreme. So what we're finding right now is a very decent level of support for the RSI on the 15-minute chart at around there, around 40, 55, right? So right now, as it stands, guys, within, like, say, the past 4 hours, the bulls have tried really hard to break that key resistance on the 2 hour chart there, but they just failed. Therefore, I really do think that we're going to end up wedging in here somewhere still. And, you know, I've been playing small bounces throughout the entire day, like on Ripple, on NEO especially. I've been playing a lot of NEO today. That coin's been freaking awesome today. Not that volatile, but in terms of movement and percentage gains, yeah, it's crazy. Like, I'm playing, like, you know, 50 NEO or something, and it's moving like $2, like, really quickly. So it's like, okay, just $100 right here, $100 right there. It's pretty cool. So right now, as it stands, guys, we're basically in this kind of range right now, right? Hold on, let me just see if I can get a better view of it. So it wants to stay in this kind of trading range right here, right? You guys notice this trading, this one especially, okay? This one especially, this visible area here, it's trying, but it's really not able to sustain it based on all the resistances that was rejected. So if I look in a 5-minute chart here, I see like a channel, okay? I see kind of a channel, but it broke out of it, right? It broke out of it like pretty much right there. So now I see a slight uptrend on it, but nevertheless, guys, we are so range bound right now to right around this particular region here, and we have been so for the past 6-7 hours now, right? So until it can break successfully above 11.3 or below 10.9 here, there's really not much we can say, guys. We just gotta hang tight. On a 5-minute chart, this is how you know that it's on a neutral zone. The neutral zone is between 65 and 35, right? The bullish zone is between 40 to very high RSIs. The bearish zone by Brown's law is below, really low RSI to about 60 at most. But if you see it hover between 35 and 60, even on the 5-minute chart, it's a really neutral zone. It's crossing up and down, up and down, up and down, and eventually it's going to make a decision, right? It's going to make a decision. And what we see, like, for example, on a 15, actually, let's see, on the 1 hour chart especially, is that these like, you got to keep in mind that there's 12 5-minute candles in a 1 hour chart, right? So this candle makes 12 candles. So if you look all in here right now, like, that's basically this range about right here. So it's doing absolutely nothing inside of that candle right now, the hourly, and it's ranging back and forth, right, between the EMA. So I wish I had really good news right now. The only thing I'm waiting for is a break outside of this particular zone. I'm just waiting. I want it to break out of this zone right here that's been going on since morning. And I want it to break out of 10,350 about, or outside of 11,350, or below 10,900. Until then, I don't really have any opinion of Bitcoin. It is entirely on a sideways trend. When I say sideways, I mean short term, for about 6-7 hours now, right? There's no absolute direction in general at all. All that we see is rejection on a very high time frame, like 2 hours. It's high to me, okay, relative to me. But what's important to make note of is that the daily chart is going to close with a hammer probably, right? And if it closes with a hammer, it might signal the next day's uptrend. So I might even be banking on it breaking above 10,300, right? So between sorry, 10,900 and 11,300. Those are kind of the critical points right now in this zone, right? 10,900, 10,000, 11,350. So yeah, until then, I wish I had a clear direction on where this wants to go. Elliott wave is incredibly complicated to count in here right now, and I'm not even going to try to count it, to be quite honest. So yeah, so that is where I stand with Bitcoin. I mean, if it breaks, for example, you know, the 55 EMA on the 15-minute chart, it's definitely going to signal for me to be shorting a few things. So as it stands right now, like we're about to just break below the 55 EMA again, right? So it looks like it wants to test this bottom at 10,900. So if you guys see it break 10,900, it might not be the best time to enter a position for your altcoins either, right? Because the altcoins are going to be dragged down by Bitcoin as well. So the safest play for me right now as a swing trader and even a day trader is to see if it breaks out of this right here first. If it doesn't, altcoins are they're gonna be facing pretty much the exact same fate. They're just gonna be sideways right now. I mean, if we look at some of the altcoins I'm tracking right now, I'm tracking ETC, NEO, I'm tracking EOS right now, and also IOTA. I mean, I shorted Ripple from 142 to 138 there. That was an easy short because I caught it just hovering around there. I shorted it right around there before the crossover. So that was easy to play. EOS is doing nothing right now, but I'll show you guys what I mean by NEO, okay? So I gave it a short for NEO at around 130, closed it at actually 124, and then I shorted it again as soon as it broke this EMA from 124 to 121. So NEO's been a really good one to trade there. Now Bitcoin, yeah, like and IOTA as well, like, you know, it's been moving up and down a lot from 148 to 160. It's pretty good movement in 2 hours actually, 10 cents, right? So if you think of 10 cents on IOTA, if you're playing like a 5,000 coin position, right? Something like 10, 12K for every 1,000 coins that moves 10 cents, that's $100. So if you're playing like, you know, a few coins there, like 5,000, 10,000, whatever, your 5,000 would be $500 for that movement, right? For 1,000 or 10,000 coins, you would have made $1 grand. And you guys remember back in the days when I'm like playing, you know, 10, 20,000 IOTA, like, yeah, those were, but that was like back in the day when it was like, you know, $1, $2, right? And this thing would move like 5 cents, and I'm playing like, what the heck? Do I have 15,000 coins right now? Did I just make $750 in like 5 minutes or something? Because it moved a nickel? Oh, those were good. Those were good days when you saw IOTA range by like 10 cents in a matter of just seconds. And oh my God, those are so the Music Go was so good as well when it was 50 cents on its climb to 14 back in August, right? Those were good coins to trade, guys. Woo! I can't wait to find another one of those coins, guys, on bitfinex. It's gonna be so awesome for me to track. I mean, right now we got fun. We got let me just take a look at my bitfinex here. I'm just super curious. I gotta close my account here. Oh, wicked! My freaking Ripple position closed. Okay, that's so awesome. I was in a crappy long position. Or sorry, crappy short position, but it actually ended up breaking well below. Okay, so I lost nothing on that guy. Okay, let me show you like some of the coins that we're gonna be looking for this year. Okay, guys, we're gonna be looking for we're going to be looking at like Spank Chain, we're going to look at Golem, we're going to look at Data, we're going to look at SNT. I forgot what SNT is. We're going to look at Fund, we're going to look at Edo, screw ETP, we're going to look at ZRX, Cash as well, TNB. So there are a lot of coins that are added to my repertoire here that we're going to be tracking, guys, and I cannot wait to tweet them so we can all make some nice profits. So as it stands right now, guys, no update on Bitcoin. Sideways right now. Sideways action completely. 11,350 key resistance for the short term, 10,900 key support for the short term. If we break through one of these points, then we will break out of this pattern right here, and c'est la vie. So if you guys enjoy these videos and updates, I'd really appreciate an upvote on Steemit, and make sure you guys also like and subscribe to the content on social media, like YouTube and Twitter. And if you guys especially love this stuff, you guys can also buy my dog a drink. She likes tequila and vodka. You guys can donate to the cryptocurrency piggy bank there. So thanks a lot for your time. Have yourselves a great day, guys. Like I always say, stay cautious.